Thursday was great. Last MLB slate of the season, and yeah, it was the top 1% for the GPP members. I'm gonna miss it a little bit, Josh. Definitely gonna miss it a little bit, but I don't have to provide double sports for Thursdays for a while, so that I'm happy with. No sound, no sound, no sound. There we go. We're good. Perfect. All right, what's going on, guys? Good morning. Andrew P. Bacon. Thanks for coming in early and hanging out. I did this yesterday, Josh, too, for the strong side myself. We always do this really smart thing where we mute ourselves during the intro music and then forget to turn ourselves back on. So, girl dads. Oh, okay, all right. Your mic's probably just something.
Oh, there we go. We got it, baby. All right. Little Italy, thanks to the sub at tier one. We fucking love you. All right. Now you guys should be able to hear me. That was a little bit of a mess to start out the show, but hey, it's a live show. You're gonna have some technical problems. I already see people talking about you winning, Jared. So why don't you talk about how Thursday night football went?
Yeah, Thursday Night Football was great. The reason that we won yesterday had a lot to do with a scratch that happened 90 minutes before kickoff, Josh. Apparently, Carlos Hyde had come into the game totally healthy, and he showed up to the stadium after their workouts. Like they go to the workout. Apparently, they have like 3 or 4 hours to go home and do whatever, and then they have to come back to the stadium at a certain time, like 2 or 3 hours before kickoff. And he comes in, and apparently his shoulder is hurting him from something that was like undisclosed. So he was a healthy scratch last night, and I had no thoughts of playing him or James Robinson at all, and that kind of just sent it flying the other direction here as they only had Daria Agumbawale as their backup, and he basically got no run. So James Robinson had 20 plus touches, and that's exactly who I pivoted to. The field went to Jamar Chase instead of James Robinson last night, and that's why we had a big day as we did.
Yeah, so here I am. I told you I had car problems yesterday. Fucking again. So wasn't able to do much, but my girlfriend and I had already planned out going to the movies. We already got the tickets. So we're like, we'll just Uber to the movies and we'll go see it. And so we Uber to the movies. I'm sitting in the seat. We're gonna see Venom, which I'm super
Oh,
excited
sweet.
for because I'm just on a movie kick recently. I've been going to the movies like every Thursday. And I'm just looking at my phone while before like the previews go on, and I see the Carlos Hyde news, and I'm like, all right, let me go bet something ignorant right now after I see this. So I knew that you were gonna be smart. I knew you were gonna play James Robinson. I was right. You had him in the lineups. It was perfect. But I also threw a fat chunk on James Robinson over like it was 67 yards or something,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and just absolute money. I was
Yep.
not surprised at all to walk out of the movie and see, oh, he's well over 67 at this point, and he's gonna easily cash this for me. So it was a good night, man. As soon as I saw that, it sucks because I realized I was playing against him in like three different leagues, so that hurt a little bit. But hey, it's okay. It is what it is, you know. At least the team won because of the James Robinson news. I was surprised because it seemed like when I looked through ownership last night, because I played your lineups, I always play your lineups for the single games. I was surprised that he wasn't more owned. I thought people would see that and be
Yep.
like, okay, yeah, he's an automatic lock. But like no one cared about the news, which blew my mind because it just shows like you always have an advantage on these single game slates no matter what.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I still am trying to wrap my head around why people chose Jamar Chase to complete they played everybody, right? So they played Burrow, Mixon, Lawrence was like unowned. He was like 15% owned last night. So it was a four-person stack of Cincy, including Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. And then they played, I don't know, either LaVisca or somebody else down at like the bottom of the barrel. So didn't make sense to me because Jamar Chase doesn't have any like nearly as many touches as James Robinson would ever have. Recency bias is bacon. I mean, that's part of it probably. Like eventually, we talked about this yesterday on the Strong Side stream. Eventually, Jamar Chase was going to come back down to earth. He had 4 touchdowns in 3 games, and this one definitely was the one that was the bummer for him. They just didn't like. We also didn't expect, and people always do this, and they go and they overreact to what the spread was. People thought that since he was going to destroy them, I was a little bit more hesitant on that. I thought -7 was not the bet that you should be taking. So we also took the under last night, which barely squeaked through. So again, Thursday Night Football reigns king.
Yep, always does. You're on a hot little win streak right now. When was the last time you lost? Like 2020?
Last time I lost it's actually closer than people realize, but we've had a lot of NFL slates
Yeah,
go our way. But it was week 3,
there you go.
week 3 Sunday Night Football. No, wait, no, week 2 Sunday Night Football. Week 2 Sunday Night Football.
Good stuff. Bacon23 says, I teased Cincinnati and over, so cash that easily. That's exactly what I did, Bacon. So I wanted to get something in on the game. I was like, I don't feel comfortable with -7.5. I don't feel comfortable with that 46 number for the over-under. Let me just tease the over and tease Cincinnati, and worked out perfectly. I sweated a little bit. I was watching it in the movies, just keeping an eye on the score, and I was sweating, but it worked out for the best.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else happened on Thursday? I know you were telling me that you guys had a little bit of MLB success too.
Yeah, we had a really good night in MLB for those who played the GPP lineup, and Sean's lineup did very well too. We both pitched guys that were like in the same price range, Josh. Gross plays, but Nick Pivetta against Baltimore was Sean's play, and my play was Rich Hill against Miami, and both of them actually did pretty well. So that was interesting. And then after that, we were focused on 3 teams: the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Minnesota Twins. Dodgers put up a ton of runs. The Twins put up a ton of runs, and the Red Sox put up not that many. So that was kind of a weird thing to see.
Typical Red
Uh,
Sox.
but yeah, I'm glad that So we were talking about this yesterday, and for those of you who are on the podcast, you know what that conversation was, and I'm glad we had it because it really showed the transparency. And you know this, Josh. Like once you get off the podcast, like it doesn't stop. Like you're usually talking with Sean for the next 20 plus minutes about things that we had kind of left out from the podcast. So we were talking and did that straight on the air yesterday, and it was a Byron Buxton versus Mookie Betts 1v1. It was a Justin Turner versus Josh Donaldson 1v1, and Will Smith versus Mitch Garver. Like all these, it was so close between all the guys, and all of those dudes hit home runs, the third basemen and those outfielders. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. It's good to see. It's good to see that the company can keep on churning even when I'm gone, and that's always nice to see. Mills9042 said, "Did you even watch the movie?" I watched the movie. It was a good movie. I was very happy. It was a very good movie. Make sure to stay after the credits because there's a little good scene there. But yeah, it was a great movie. I had a good time. But yes, I was watching my phone a little bit too much probably. I always get into that habit whenever I bet and then go into a movie. Anyway, anything else you want to talk about for Thursday, Jared? And if not, we have some topics to get to.
No, my Mariners bets are slowly creeping into existence.
Yeah, Mariners, go Mariners, baby. Hey, as long as they don't kick the Yankees out, I'm fine. Yankees, I mean, hey, we're looking good, man. We're looking in a good spot. All right, let's talk about the first topic, which is the Friday Frenzy. Just want to talk about everything that happened on Thursday, kind of like we just did, but more in depth. And first off, we have to talk about the game last night. Before we do talk about the game, let's see what Joe Burrow thinks about last night's game, because we have a little video of him talking in the press game conference.
In a zero look, and so all week I know defensive coordinator had a Baltimore background. They've showed some zero on film. I knew I'd have to be ready for it in a big spot. And I had CJ out there. That's not exactly the personnel that we usually throw those jailbreak screens to, but he really took advantage of the opportunity, and I had those plays in the back. Thank you. I had those plays in the back of my head, expecting zero, and I just got to it and didn't really think about it.
You also seem a little out of breath here. That's not usual for you after the game. Why is that the case right now?
No, I just ran from another interview. That's why.
What was the person, Joe, that you had out there?
Well, we were in 11. It was just CJ was out wide. And I was trying to figure out if I wanted to get it to the boundary or to the field, and I just figured more room to the field. I had CJ out there, but I knew he'd take advantage of it.
Were you getting flashbacks to the Baltimore game last season, and was this an example of you learning from that loss last year?
It's a different structure of defense, but um, same premise. They bring zero and they pop guys out. When they're not blocked or when they're blocked. So it's a good rep to get and to just put in your back pocket for later.
How different is the way this team reacted this year compared to maybe previous years, being down 14-0 and it feeling like it was going the wrong way?
Yeah, there was no panic in the locker room. We knew we didn't play great in the first half. It is what it is, but we had all the faith in the world that we were going to come out and play really well in the second half. And we've been a second half team. We're going to have to get that fixed. We're going to have to play better in the first half on offense. But I'm proud of the way we fought back.
Proud of the way they fought back. Awesome to see. Awesome to see them pick up the dub. Any thoughts on Joe Burrow's performance last night against the Jags?
Like I said, wow, excuse me. Well, like I said on these streams yesterday, Joe Burrow has been not obviously as mobile as he was, but the one thing he has been is extremely efficient in the pocket this year. And he hasn't put up like massive numbers. So last night was a good indication and a reminder that he can do that. I'm just impressed that he has been as clutch as he has, whether it was last night. And I know that, Jacksonville's defense was suspect in the second half. And then they also did the same thing in week 1 where they won in overtime with that game-winning field goal. So they have 2 comeback drives this season, and they've only been 4 weeks. So I think that the more we see him get used to the NFL game, I think he does have that clutch gene in him like we saw in college.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was very down on Burrow to start out the season. I had a lot to say, and I wasn't very high on him, and I didn't think he was going to do all that. But he's impressed me. Like, that's all I have. He's impressed me throughout these first 4 weeks. He's done everything that I expected him not to be able to do. I didn't know what he would look like if he wasn't a mobile quarterback, and he looks good, man. He looks accurate. He looks like he's a good leader, and that jailbreak screen that CJ had last night. They were talking about it in that press conference. I mean, that I got to see a highlight of that jailbreak screen, and that screen was huge. I mean, it was perfectly placed. It was in a good spot. It was perfectly timed. A lot of people don't give credit to the quarterback on those plays because, he's just throwing it a short distance to the guy to the screen, but like it takes a lot of skill to pull those off, and he's one of the main reasons that it did pop off. So I see a lot of people saying Burrow is a stud. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. I don't know about all that, but hey, whatever works. Mills said he reminds me of Peyton, the way he reads defenses. What do you think about that? I know we're a little bit early. We're only 1/4 through the season for Burrow, but what's the Burrow trajectory looking like after the first 4 weeks?
I think that it's definitely going up in terms of what he has available to him. Again, I wish that his offensive line was better, but that will come over time. Hopefully, if they do things right for this guy. Uh, I would have loved to have seen him if he wouldn't have got hurt last year, where he would be right now, as he did take a step back, and you're still seeing a little bit of hesitancy moving forward the first couple of weeks here. So yeah, I mean, the clutch thing definitely reminds me of those kinds of quarterbacks, right? Uh, but yeah, he looked good. There weren't too many bad throws. He made some good decisions, and I haven't seen him make too many poor decisions so far this season.
Yeah, neither have I. I at least completely regret in that aspect where I just haven't seen him do many things wrong this season, which is good, man. That's what you want to see from a guy like this. I'm trying to see. Let's see stats. Are we? No, we're 14 games in, so we're almost to a full season of Burrow. In this
Yep.
14 game set, he's had 3,600 yards. He's had 22 touchdowns. He's had 9 interceptions. He's had a completion rating of 66%. Like, are we happy with this? Is this when there was this huge hype cycle around Joe Burrow for the draft in 2020? If I told you today that he's played 14 games and those are his stats: 3,600 yards, 22 to 9 touchdown to interception ratio, 66% completion rating. Are you happy with that? Does that make you feel good about the pick for Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean that makes me feel happy. I think that obviously coming in as one of the most hyped up first round picks in a while, It's definitely a good sign. I would say that they still have had a lot of work to do, and a lot of those stats are because of having a bad defense and having a bad offensive line. And also, I mean, Joe Mixon hasn't played up to his potential. He did a little bit last night, but he's finally getting the pieces that he needs around him. And they're a young team. They should be able, if they stick together, they should be able to do quite a bit. And, obviously it's early, but they are sitting up at the top of the AFC North. The big thing for me for Burrow, especially last night, was they took care of the ball. And again, very, very efficient, 25 for 32, which is great. And almost 350 passing yards, also great. If they can keep that, and I know that this strategy was what they used last year, they have not done it this year, and I think this is the biggest thing that I can say about his performance is that he didn't need to throw the ball 50 times to win, and he
Yeah.
only threw it 32 times. Hasn't thrown the ball very much at all. He threw it like 18 times last week, and they won. So the team is definitely rallying around their core pieces, and they're playing really well on both sides of the ball. And if he doesn't have to throw the ball 50 plus times, then I think that they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I still like my brain goes automatically back to I think it was the Browns they played on Thursday night last year, and where it was
Yep.
like he threw the ball like
Yep.
I it might have been 50, it might have been like closer to 60. Like he threw the ball a shit ton, and they still
Right.
got pretty sure they got stomped in that game. I don't fully remember. My memory isn't that good, but that's what I think. That's what I thought of when I saw him on Thursday night. I was like, I wonder if this is going to be I want to compare that Thursday night game to this Thursday night game and see where he is now. It's really interesting to see. Sorry, we have a video playing somewhere. There we go. I was pulling up Joe Burrow's stats, and for some reason, one of the videos, one of like the ads played on the Joe Burrow stats page. Anyway, so yeah, super good to see. What blows my mind is that his interception to touchdown ratio or touchdown to interception ratio this season is 9-4. Meanwhile, in 2020, it was 13-5. So he's almost at that 10 touchdown mark through 4 games. It took him 10 games to get the 13 touchdowns. So it's going to be interesting to compare those. Anything else on Thursday Night Football? How did Trevor Lawrence look? I did not get to watch the game, so like I'm a
Yeah.
little bit in the dark here, but I want to hear how Trevor Lawrence looked.
He did not look bad, actually. So Lawrence, the biggest concern that I had coming in was the fact that he had 9 turnovers through 3 weeks and was averaging 3 per game, whether that be fumbles or picks. I believe he threw 7 picks already in 3 weeks. Took care of the ball a little bit more last night. They used James Robinson a ton, and he also Trevor Lawrence ran a touchdown in himself. So that was impressive to see. If he can do that, then obviously his stock as a QB raises tremendously, as well as in the DFS space. But I'm continuing to watch to see if that's going to be the case moving forward. But yeah, he didn't throw the ball too much either. 24 attempts for Lawrence, only 200 passing yards. They had the game they just came out and had a good game plan for the first half. First half ended 14-0 Jacksonville, so they didn't really need to throw the ball that much. And in the second half is where they kind of imploded on offense, and since he kind of turned the tides at home. So when it comes to, and they did a really good job. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad about Lawrence last night, because since he tied the game, they actually were able to move the ball and kind of come down and score themselves. And give credit to Cincy's defense for stopping them on what would be the final drive, and then they went down and kicked the field goal. But nothing bad to say about Lawrence. I mean, this is just a growing pain moment, and he's getting better. I wouldn't say getting better every start, but this is definitely a step up from last week to this week.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mills. Mills said it perfectly in the chat. He finally took care of the ball. I mean, I pulled up the box score, and if I'm looking at it just without any watching the game or anything else, I say, at least he didn't have an interception, right? Like that's the main
Yeah.
thing, because he's been turning the ball over so much. It's almost been 2 times a game for the past 3 weeks, and to see no turnovers is a good thing. That's solid. What do you think about James Robinson? Is this hopefully elevating him to the spot he was at before the season when we found that the ETN was hurt?
This has been a roller coaster especially for all you guys who are DFS and season long players. How like we were really high on him coming into the year. They draft ETN, then his stock goes down, and then ETN gets hurt and his stock goes up again. And then Carlos Hyde comes in and plays a bunch of snaps in week 1, and now Carlos Hyde's a healthy scratch. So I don't really know how to view this. I think that last night was a really good spot to take advantage of James Robinson, but we can't expect this every single week. And once their backups start to come in to the fold, he's going to get less work, but he got a ton of work last night and played almost every single snap of the offense.
Was Hyde like an actual healthy scratch? Because I thought I saw something saying that
Well,
he had a problem with his shoulder, or his shoulder
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
feel right.
They didn't put him on the injury report because they had to have that out like way before his injury came back when he came into the stadium again for the second time of the day. So they said it was a healthy scratch, but it also came out later, right before the game, that his shoulder was hurting. So
Gotcha.
I
So
don't really know what the
technically a
actual term
healthy
was, but
scratch, but like
yeah,
not okay. Yeah, all right, that makes sense.
yeah.
Uh,
Really weird situation. Yeah.
yeah, sounds like it. By the way, thank you, Brian 14353. He just gifted a tier 1 sub to IT Chris or It Chris. I don't know which one it is, but I feel like I've seen the name before. So congratulations, It Chris. Now you can talk in the chat, and hopefully you can talk some sports with us. All right, anything else from Thursday Night Football that surprised you?
Yeah, the fact that the tight ends. Let's talk about the tight ends really quickly.
Yeah.
Dan Arnold came in and actually played a lot of snaps, so that's will be interesting to see moving forward. He had the most snaps and most routes run out of any tight end on Jacksonville, even though he's been on the team for 3 days. And the other side, CJ Uzoma. I said that Joe Burrow doesn't like throwing to his tight ends yesterday, and that's going to be a big L on my part. But I said in the chat last night that CJ Uzoma equals Travis Kelce because 5 receptions, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns for CJ, and one of the best one of the best plays of the game to clinch the game itself and get that game-winning field goal. So that was the best performance of his career. I would not be surprised to see him not do that ever again at all in his career.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, you said that, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be funny if I could find a Joe Burrow like as the Michael Jordan saying like, I took that personally after you said that about his tight ends. Yeah, I saw that CJ Azuma game. I have him in 2 like really really deep fantasy leagues, and I have him at like flex spot. I had him in at flex spots because, of course, another Thursday where I forgot to set my lineups. I probably wouldn't have included him except that I just accidentally left it, and it worked out well. The guy was an absolute animal. So you're probably right. Probably never gonna happen again. Not gonna overreact to it and like over roster him, but should be interesting to see if maybe that's not gonna happen, but maybe if he's a little bit more involved in the offense. And dude, just my boy Dan Arnold getting the job done wherever he needs to go. Hopefully it's just like they didn't have a chance to really introduce him to everything, but once they do, he's gonna be like a bigger weapon. Especially, I guess we should talk about this before we move on. DJ Chark injury. We got the news
Yeah,
this morning that he's gonna be out for the season.
yeah.
What does that mean for this offense?
Super unfortunate for him. He got rolled up on doing his job and blocking. Just happens in football, man. Like that's just the kind of stuff that happens every now and then with injuries, and it is a big blow. He provides more to the team than people realize, and they just look at the stats and they say, "Oh, I mean, he's not efficient. Like he's only a big play guy, kind of thing." But he is the guy that stretches out the rest of the field, and he allows guys like Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault to get free in certain scenarios. His job is to stretch the field, and they don't really have anybody that can do that. The one guy that could, I guess, would be Jamal Agnew, but he's more of a special teams punt return kind of guy, like a wide receiver 4 or 5. So maybe we could see them try to get a guy like I don't know. Maybe they'll try to get John Brown in free agency, like Bodian said. Like that's a decent like they need somebody who can stretch the field, and currently they don't have anybody on the roster that can do that. And I don't know. They're probably in a situation where they're just going to continue to try out anybody on their practice squad or their bench because they really don't need to go out of their way to trade somebody. Like they already did something weird and traded away their best cornerback, but it is what it is. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see something crazy happen.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely something crazy that could happen. I don't know. I feel disappointed. I know that I wasn't very high on Shark
Neither was
throughout the
I.
preseason.
Yeah.
We were both higher on Chenault, and well, I was higher on Marvin Jones. I don't think you were, but no, we were both higher on the other two. And so yeah, just kind of it sucks to see injuries like that. Hope he gets well soon, and it's gonna be interesting to see if they replace him with another weapon in that offense. All right. Anything else for Friday Frenzy? And if not, we're gonna talk about some MLB.
Yeah, the final thing we'll we'll finish this off with is that a stat that the Jaguars have lost 19 straight games.
Oof. That stinks for the Jags. Anyway, let's talk about some MLB. And we had plenty happen last night. We had the Yankees win. I wore the hat for it. This is even the Derek Jeter hat. So I was super happy to see us win, especially because we got some shit talk going on in our shot to the moon chats with us and the Canadians, or with me and the Canadians. But yeah, what happened in MLB last night? Anything jump off the page to you?
A few things. The Dodgers and Giants both won again, which is not surprising. Giants had some late night magic happen from Lamonte Wade again, Josh.
Always.
So that was crazy. And they continue to. I think they're both up. Like the Giants are up to 105 wins, and I think the Dodgers are up to like 102, 103, something like that. It's going to come down to the wire, and the Brewers get to play spoiler from Friday to Sunday and trying to ruin the Dodgers season.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I saw that Lamonte Wade hit another like single to get them the win. He's been Mr. Walk-Off. I would love to see how many walk-off hits he's had this season, because it's been absolutely insane to see what Lamonte Wade has done for this Giants team. Just coming out of nowhere and doing all this too. So been really good for that Giants team. Then the Dodgers just kind of stomped on the Padres last night, 8-3. I mean, Vince Velasquez is out there, so what were you expecting, really? You can't expect much from a Dodgers or from the Padres when they roll out Vince Velasquez. It's going to come down to these last three series, right? I think that the Giants probably just need to win one and then they clinch, right? Or am I wrong there?
I think the Dodgers have to lose one and the Giants have to win one.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, so they just need to get up one spot and they'll have it. Um, I don't know. Do you see anything funky happening this weekend? Do you think that the Dodgers might have a chance at the one spot?
Well, I'm looking at the Giants' schedule here, and uh, they have to play the Padres 3 times, which is probably a blessing in disguise for them. So, again, like that would be interesting. The Padres are going to try to play spoiler, even though they've lost like their last, I don't know, 12 out of 15 games, something like that. Um, the one thing that I want to pay attention to that's going to be super fun for me, just because I don't know. I just feel like that there's an attachment for me to this team, because I know Seattle's not really a small market city, but they're definitely a small market baseball team, and they have a chance to sneak into the wild card, and they play the Angels 3 games in a row. So they should. And I don't know if you've watched any Mariners games recently this week, but they have like sold out crowds everywhere. They have this series against the Angels is in Seattle, by the way. So everything's going to be sold out, and they never sell out their stadium. So when it's full, it's pretty cool to look at, especially in the outfield. And yeah, I think that I said this on the podcast to Sean yesterday, and for those who remember, before the dynasty of the Golden State Warriors, there was a squad before them that had like Matt Barnes and some of those guys on the team before the Currys and the Clay Thompsons came in, and they had this thing called like the Believe, something like that. It's like the Believe Squad or something like that. This is definitely similar to what this Mariners team is putting together right now.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, right? Because this Mariners team was the underdog of this wild card race that we had. We always said that it was going to be two AL East teams that was going to get into this wild card spot, and the Mariners said, "Hey, don't count us out just yet." And they probably have the easiest matchup out of the four teams when it comes to the last weekend of the season. I mean, you have them against the Angels. You have the only one close probably is Toronto facing off against the Baltimore Orioles. And then who did the Red Sox get? The Red Sox get
Washington.
Washington. I mean that's pretty easy too. But like all three of the teams really get it. And the only team that get the tough matchup is of course my Yankees. So it's going to be
Yep.
interesting to see if the Yankees can hold on, right? Because the Yankees think they need like one. They probably need 2 wins. They probably need to win this series to get into the playoffs. So it's going to be a little spicy. It's going to be a little hot at the end here. It's gonna be close. Who do you final predictions? Because we're not gonna talk until Monday. When we get to Monday, we'll be able to see like who won the wild card situation, who comes out on top. But final predictions. Give me your last 2 teams that are gonna make the wild card.
I have to pick the Mariners. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
keep riding that until it goes in,
Oh,
and I will pick the Yankees in a playoff 163 against the Red Sox.
whoa, 163. That'd be juicy. Um, give me Yankees. Give me Seattle. I think I'm gonna agree with you here. I don't see Toronto making it just because Orioles have been doing such a good job of playing spoiler. And at the end of the day, like we've always said, it comes down to who's hot at the right time. Boston Red Sox 5-5 over their last 10. Toronto 4-6 over their last 10. But Yankees 8-2 over their last 10, and Seattle 9-1. So always comes down to who's hot and who's not. And this Yankees team is hot, and so are the Mariners. So good on them.
Question for you.
Go for it.
If you are Toronto and you're coming down to an elimination game, you pitched Robbie Ray last night. He would not be in the rotation for the rest of the weekend. Do you put him in on Sunday?
If it's a must-win scenario, probably. But like you got to consider the fact that this is something that I was thinking about the other day because we talked about how Garrett Cole could come out there for the Yankees on Sunday if they really need him. Does he come out on Sunday? Because you got to think if they do get into the wild card spot, they need him for the wild. He needs to be their one starter, and
Right.
if he starts on Sunday, the wild card game's on like Wednesday or Thursday, so it's not much.
Yep.
Or maybe it might be even sooner than that. I would have to go. Let me go.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, let me go look up the wild card games MLB schedule. Do 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 do. My goodness, they tried to make this as long as possible. All right, so October 4th is the tiebreaker game. So if you are going to be in a tiebreaker situation, you probably want to have Cole for that. AL
Yep.
Divisional Series scheduled to start the 7th. Man, this is like I wanted like something simple, but this is just a wall of text. But I'm seeing from the chat that JQ says the AL is on Tuesday and the NL is on Wednesday, probably. Here we go. Tuesday's American League wild card game scheduled to ESPN at 8 p.m. and then Wednesday the National League wild card game. So like you need to have your guy ready for Tuesday. That's probably the biggest detriment now because they didn't even get that Wednesday spot like they probably wanted to. They got the Tuesday spot instead. So like I don't know if any of these guys roll out their number one ace come Sunday, which is I mean it's going to be interesting to see who has the best number two. I know it's not the Yankees because Yankees number two is who? Nestor Cortez, he's on the mound today. Jordan Montgomery, like it for these other teams, it's going to be interesting to see who these last few pitchers are for these teams to lead them into the playoffs.
Going to be very weird. John has a quick question. He said, "Is Sunday is a must-win for the Giants? Do they pitch Logan Webb?"
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same scenario for them though, right? Like at the end of the day, it's if you need to win on Sunday and you need to have your guy ready for Wednesday, I'd rather have Logan Webb ready for Wednesday. I'd put out like Gausman on Sunday, depending on
it has to be it has to be a day-by-day approach for those two teams because I think that the Dodgers have a chance to. I don't think that they're going to sweep the Brewers in LA. I just don't think so.
Yeah,
And that's not even me being a homer. I think that's just me being a realist.
Yeah, no, I mean I completely agree. It's what they swept the Padres last night, but like the Brewers are a playoff team. The Brewers are what the 3 seed right now in the NL.
I think they're going to get the 2, depending on
so,
what happens.
Even more to my point, like this team, yeah, you're right. They're the 2 seed. They're 10 games ahead of Atlanta. This is a 90-win team. The most likely you're not going to be sweeping a 90-win team. Even though you are a really good team, you're probably going to struggle in at least one game. And I let's see, who does Milwaukee roll out for the last 3 days? Because I think that could be big too. They roll out Lauer today. That's kind of ugly, but on Saturday they roll out Burns, and then on Sunday they roll out Woodruff, right?
Yep.
Probably. I'm trying to find it. But yeah, they probably roll out Woodruff. And so, like, it's TBD right now. But I imagine they roll out Woodruff. That's scary, man. Those are 3 top dog pitchers. Or not, there's 2 top dog pitchers in Eric Lauer. But still, like, it's going to be hard to get a win against Burns or against Woodruff. So, I don't know. Should be interesting to watch throughout. Webb is already slated to start on Sunday, as of right now, of course. I mean, this could definitely change, but they already have Webb out there. But you see, like, I'm right with this because a lot of these teams don't have their pitcher announced. Well, a lot of these teams, it's basically just the Red Sox and the Yankees don't have their pitcher announced for Sunday quite yet. They're both TBD. Oh. We had the pitcher for the Blue Jays. It's going to be Ryu on Sunday. And then we don't have the pitcher for the Dodgers game. So Going to come down to this last game, or it's going to come down to this last weekend, and it's going to be an absolutely amazing weekend. Who are you taking in the NL? Do Dodgers end up getting to that wild card spot for you?
Yeah, I think that the wild card's already kind of set. I do think that it's going to be the Dodgers and the Cardinals, and I really hope that again. I talked to Sean about the whole Clayton Kershaw starting over Walker Buehler thing, or
Mhm.
even Max Scherzer. Like we both think that if they start Max Scherzer, that could be a mistake too against the Cardinals. So yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes, but my sights are kind of set on the Cardinals potentially playing spoiler.
Yeah, I sad to see them lose. I just realized that because I saw the win streaks at 1 right now, so they lost that streak. But it's okay. I think they're gonna. I
Did
think that
they?
game's gonna be. I mean,
When
that's
did
what
they
it's.
lose?
I don't know. That's what it says on
Oh no, they lost
MLB.com.
Wednesday. They lost
Yeah.
Wednesday.
How badly
They
did
won
they lose
yesterday,
on Wednesday?
4-0.
Ugh, that sucks. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who this Dodgers team rolls out because they don't have really a defined ace here. They have three guys that are really, really good, but two of those three guys I think do run into some problems. And like you said, it's probably Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw who do run into those troubles. Um, Anything else on the MLB front? I feel like we go super in depth on MLB every day, but it's that time of the year. We're right around the corner from playoffs.
Yeah, this will be brought up maybe later today on the podcast, but I we had a conversation, and this is a good nugget to leave off on. Who So we had Madison Bumgarner on the mound yesterday for the Diamondbacks, and he was kind of looking to play spoiler against the Giants. Didn't work out for him that well, but Josh, he had faced Buster Posey for the first time in his MLB career yesterday.
That's crazy. That's so interesting. I saw that Giants fans were very nice to him. They cheered him on when he was at the plate. So good for him. Good for Mad Bum. I don't know. Could we ever? Do you ever think we see a reunion between those two teams?
I mean, does Madison Bumgarner come back to San Francisco to end his career? Maybe.
Yeah.
That would
I
be the
mean,
one
like,
thing I would think.
yeah, 1 year. I could see it happening. Like, it's not the craziest thing ever. And he's not a ace anymore. He's not that top dog. He's not that guy. But he is like I feel like he'd be a good number 4, number 5 starter for any team, especially that team because they need lefties. Like they're
Is
very
he?
righty heavy.
That is true. Is Madison Bumgarner, when it's all said and done, a Hall of Fame pitcher? Do people forget about what he did in the prime years of his career?
See, like you're asking the wrong dude here, and I know we have a lot of Giants fans, but like I have hated Madison Bumgarner for years now. I've hated Madison Bumgarner since like I first started providing. And it all comes back to the first day that I provided. It was opening day of 2019 for the MLB season. I saw that Mad Bum was on the mound for the Giants. He's facing off against the Dodgers. I was like, I am going to load up on Dodgers in this spot. He's a lefty. This Dodgers team is so GPP. They have so much upside every single day. I'm going to load up on this Dodgers team. Ended up not loading up on that Dodgers team because I got scared off by Sean or by something, and they ended up blowing up against Madison Bumgarner. I think they had like 9 runs through 3 innings, and I was like, shit, I should have had him. So like that's what's led to my hate of Mad Bum. JQ said Mad Bum is a Hall of Famer because of his rings. Um, I don't think that makes you a Hall of Famer. And I think that you're probably right in that this end of career little stint that he's had with the Diamondbacks is kind of probably a little bit of a blemish on his career. Um, I don't know. I'd say it's a 50-50 shot of him being a Hall of Famer. Yeah, people are already getting mad at me, so take it away, Jared. I don't need anyone to get more mad at me.
Yeah, I think that just has a lot. I don't know. I mean, I what did he win? Two, at least minimum of two, if not three,
Might have won
right? So
3.
uh, the All Star numbers are there. Yeah, I don't know. I think that over the past couple seasons, it certainly hasn't helped. But he did have like 4 or 5, what is it, 6 straight double-digit win seasons, which is impressive. 2 of those are 18-win seasons. I mean, I think that he's up there. He's gotten over 200 Ks 3 straight years in the middle of the 2010s. So 14, 15, and 16 had over 200 Ks. And then even before that, when they were winning those titles, 11, 12, and 13, he was less than 10 away from 200 Ks in the season. So almost 6 or 7 straight years of almost a 200K performance. So I don't know. I mean, I think he's up there. He probably will be on a ballot. I just don't know how long it's going to take for him to get in.
All right, so here's the accolades for Madison Bumgarner: 4-time All-Star, 3-time World Series winner, 2-time Silver Slugger, won the World Series MVP, and won the NLCS MVP. Here's an interesting question because Jay Kuz brought it up. He said Eli's rings will make him a Hall of Famer. Rings matter. Give me your odds. Or give me your pick. Who's more likely to make the Hall of Fame for their respective sport, Madison Bumgarner or Eli Manning?
Eli Manning, hands down.
100%. Like I don't think it's comparable in all honesty. I would say, man, I don't even know if this is the right way to say this. Eli's wins mean more in the playoffs, in my opinion. His wins for the Super Bowl mean more than Bumgarner's wins do, just because I think he was the face. So, like, I don't know. I think, again, it's probably a 50-50 shot for Mad Bum. Will he be on the ballot? For sure. I think he definitely will be. But Eli's like almost a surefire guy to get in. So, yeah, there's that. Anything else you want to talk about on the MLB front? We've been here forever. We've been talking about MLB for quite a while, but it's an important time to talk about MLB.
No, because next time we'll talk about it, we'll have all of our answers.
Yep, it'll be a lot of fun to talk about it this coming Monday. All right, next segment that we have on the table is the looking towards the weekend segment. This is a little bit of a new one, but I want you to give me your favorite game that you're looking forward to towards the weekend, whether that be in college football, whether that be NFL, whether it be MLB. When it's MLB, it probably comes to like what series are you most excited for, but give me one thing that you're most excited for this weekend.
It's kind of hard to ignore. Like obviously, it's a really good college football slate, but it's really really hard to ignore the Brady versus the Patriots thing. Like I'm not really like I don't like Tom Brady. I think that I respect it. But I'm not gonna like usually not gonna go out of my way to watch. But this time, I think that this is definitely necessary for you to watch. We watched Drew Brees celebrate his passing yard record 2 years ago, and now we're seeing this happen again this year. So I think that just it was just planned out perfectly, and Tom Brady knew exactly what he was doing. I just think that this is the game to watch.
Yeah,
It's boring, but it's the one.
No, it's the right answer, right? Like it would have been my answer if you didn't say it. So it's definitely the right answer there with that game. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So I guarantee you it gives you chills when you watch Tom Brady come out of the tunnel for the first time, and all those Patriots fans are, I don't know, do they boo him or do they cheer him on? What do
I
you
think
think?
there's going to be a mix. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think there's
it's
going to be a
probably
mix.
gonna be like a 50-50 mix throughout the stadium. Those mad Bostonians will probably at least make things a little overwhelming. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, man. It's gonna bring back all the storylines around that game is going to be a lot of fun, and you get to provide the single game for it. So that's absolutely awesome.
Yep.
I won't be a chalk donkey. I won't. I think that's the chalk donkey answer there, saying that you're looking forward to that game. I'll say that the game that I'm looking forward to the most is Notre Dame versus Cincinnati. Two undefeated teams, two top 10 ranked teams, and it should be a good one. I have a little bit of a favoring towards Cincinnati because they are in the American, and that's where my team is as well. But it's going to be a fun game to watch, I think. Notre Dame has really impressed me. They impressed me last week when they faced off against Wisconsin, and I like Cincinnati. I think Ryder's the answer. I think Ryder's a beast. So going to be a really good game. Anything else you want to talk about that you're excited for this weekend when it comes to sports?
Yeah, just the fact that we will be able to try to continue this winning streak for NFL on Sunday.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun to try to continue it. JQ said, I'd be shocked if they boo Brady. You'd be surprised, man. The guy it's Boston. So you have those mad Bostonian fans. Two, he left and then won a Super Bowl. Like, I would not be surprised to see some boos in that stadium. All right. Trying to read through, man, y'all have been talking about a ton of stuff. All right. JQ said Mad Bum was the face of the Giants. Yes, but it's easier to be a face of an NFL team when with baseball, if you're a pitcher and you're a face of the team, you only pitch every 5 days. Where meanwhile Eli's on top of he's the face of everything for the Giants. So that was my point in saying that Eli was the face of the Giants. Keith Easy said Iowa versus Maryland, Maryland for the upset. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Iowa versus Maryland. That's going to be a good game, I guess. JQ said, he said I'd be shocked. Grace to you said Arkansas versus Georgia, one of the best running teams versus best run defense. Yeah, I'm excited for that game. JT Daniels has started to impress me with the throws that he's making week in and week out. So that was a runner-up to my Cincinnati game that I'm looking forward to. Jay Coos talking about UFC. I knew he would. He said, I'm pumped for Dawkins versus Holland. Can't wait to see what changes Holland has made. Can't wait to see what Dawkins has done. Like, Dawkins is a beast, man, and like we just saw him fight really well, and so I'm excited to see what Dawkins can do. Iowa versus Maryland today. I think it is today. Bad thing about that Georgia game is that Georgia is damn good on D. Why is that a bad thing about that game? I'd love to see a good defense. Anyway, anything else for the weekend? And if not, we're gonna move on to our next segment.
No, we're all good here.
All right, let's move on, and we are talking about Flag on the Play. With Flag on the Play, we talk about something that surprised us from the night before, whether that be a really good player or a player that we thought was going to do well, do poorly, player that we thought was going to do poorly, do well. What's your Flag on the Play for that Thursday slate?
Yeah, I will give one for NFL, one for MLB. The MLB one is pretty simple. The Boston Red Sox definitely should not have lost last night.
Yeah.
They started off the game with a home run from Kike Hernandez at the first at bat, and then from there, we're only able to score one run in the final 8 innings. So, yeah, they should not be losing to this team. However, they are, and that's very, very scary for Boston's fans last night. If they go and get cold right now, like that'd be like a classic implosion. So we'll see what happens with them. On the NFL side, it was a very, very rough first half for Joe Mixon. And I don't know. I mean, I know you were probably in your movie, so you probably didn't see this. But last night, there was a play where Joe Mixon took the ball all the way down to like the half-yard line. And then on the next play, Joe Burrow did a QB sneak and did not get in. But they reviewed that play for like 10 minutes to try to see if he got in. Very, very similar to the Dak Prescott touchdown. However, I think the Dak Prescott QB sneak was actually a touchdown. This one was not. And then Joe Burrow handed off to Mixon and ended up getting that touchdown for him to save his day. So it was a very suspect performance for Joe Mixon in a spot where I thought it was a smash home run. But he ended up having an okay day yesterday.
For sure. Yeah. When it comes to that Red Sox team, man, like I can't believe that you lose. You're on the cusp of making the playoffs and you lose 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. I think they lost 2 out of 3. It might have been 3 out of 4, honestly. I don't remember, but 2 out of 3 is just like, I don't think you see many playoff teams do that. And so that's why I feel a little bullish on the Red Sox probably not making it at the end of the day. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun thing to watch when it comes down to it. And it's going to be interesting if this Orioles team continues to play spoiler, because now they have the opportunity to play spoiler against the Blue Jays. So maybe it's less of, the Red Sox suck and more of Orioles are just trying to play really well because they're taking on that spoiler mentality.
Right.
Just brings me back to this tweet I saw. Like I've said a few times to members, I follow every single beat reporter for the MLB, and I have their Twitter notifications on, so I see Twitter notifications throughout the night about every MLB team. And the one for the Red Sox last night was like, the headline read something like, the Red Sox have a chance at the playoffs, but they certainly didn't look like it on Thursday. And I was like, that's about right. That's about what I expected to see. All right. Anything else for Flag on the Play? If not, we have we have to talk about our friends over at BOL.
No, we're all good here. Again, not too much to complain about last night at all.
Yeah, was a good night for the team. All right, let's talk about our good friends over at BetOnline.ag. They are our sponsors here at the show. Of course, the thing does not show up right now, but I will make sure it does show up sometime soon. Jared, what do you want to do for Underdog Mentality today?
Yeah, for Underdog Mentality, we looked at the NFL card yesterday, and there's actually not much that I like. So I'm going to be focusing on baseball, and we're going to be talking about hopefully some playoff matchups here that I can't say that I'm falling in love with, but we're going to talk about it here. Man, the Blue Jays are insane favorites today. I'm not going to be taking Baltimore spoiler, even though I wanted to see if I could try to make that work. Let's see. Who's going to play spoiler today? Oh, okay, here we go. So Josh, the Mets are starting to heat up a little bit, and I know that I'm going to take a guy that Sean probably has some interest in tonight in Yanoa against the Braves. So give me the New York Mets behind Miguel for plus 105.
I can get behind it. I like the bet there. That makes sense to me. Not a lot of underdogs that are really jumping off the page today, in all honesty.
Right,
I'm looking
right.
through everything. Give me, don't know what I want here. I don't know if I want anything here, and I don't want to force a bet at all. Um, you know what? Red Sox have been ice cold. This is a little bit of a weird take. I know Eduardo Rodriguez have been ice cold as well. Give me the Nats to win, plus 175. Honestly, I'd rather take plus 1.5 and get plus 103 odds there. But I'll take the real underdog play and give me plus 175 for Nats to play spoiler here too.
Yeah.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we both skipped over this specific play because we just don't necessarily believe in it. But the one underdog play that actually looks okay is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Don't say it, Jared. I got the hat on and
I
everything. You
said we.
can't do it to me, man.
I
You
know.
can't.
I said that we didn't do it. So I wanted to stay away from that because I don't believe in it. But that's the only number that makes sense.
Yeah, I will say I'm not gonna say it's a head scratcher necessarily. Yankees are hot. Rays are kind of hot, but not really fully hot. It's Shane McClanahan, like he's a good pitcher, but I just don't know how he does against this Yankees team. So going to be interesting to watch if Shane McClanahan can get the job done for the Rays. If you're the Rays, you want to beat the Yankees, right? You don't want to see this Yankees team in the playoffs.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
I mean
Do you
they've
think the
already
Rays
faced
sit
enough
anyone
time.
throughout the end of the weekend because like they're set, like they don't have anything else to play for right now?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Kevin Cash is a weird guy. He might take some people out early.
No, going to be interesting to see if that is
That
the
was a Blake
case.
Snell comment, by the way.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, I should. That's my fault. I should have picked up on it. All right. Anything or our favorite, or take it to the bank, or whatever we're calling it, lock of the day, whatever you want to call it nowadays. What's
Yeah,
your favorite play on this slate? That's your lock of the day.
yeah. Oh man, I was gonna say Dodgers, but I have a strange feeling Eric Lauer is gonna troll everybody tonight
So do
in
I.
DFS.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Nice. What are the Giants' odds here? I'm trying to. Where are they?
I don't think they're on the board right now, but whatever they are,
All
give
right,
it to
whatever
me.
they are, just take them. If it's heavy odds, if it's heavy money line odds, then give them the run line. I'm taking the run line here. Give me the. This should have been my underdog play because it's plus 117. Oh well. Give me the Mariners to win. Marco Gonzalez has been playing amazingly against this Angels team this season, and Mariners at home. Just you always take it to the bank, baby. Mariners at home is
Yeah,
just always fucking money, no matter
it
what.
is. It
Um,
is.
they're just
Josh, the chat wants us to talk about Iowa, Maryland, and they're going nuts about
Oh,
this Maryland
jeez.
+3 right now. So how do you feel about that?
Maryland plus free. I mean, so I haven't done my football research yet for the slate. I don't even know if they have a Friday slate today. Probably don't, and if they do, it's probably really ugly. But plus three, I would rather take the money line here. Um, from my very little knowledge about this game, I would lean towards the underdog, but it's close. I think it will be a close one, just like the odds indicate. So I don't mind you guys taking Maryland. I think that's a solid bet.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for our friends over at BOL? We'll thank them here once we get over to our next scene.
Yeah. There's a comment from Mills in the chat saying that if we have any codes or anything like that, and I'm going to give it to you here really
There you
quickly.
go.
Here's the sign up link that you can go and use, and that would help us out a ton as well as them. So appreciate
Nope.
it, dude. If you want to bet anything, we're doing pretty well last night. I wish I would have hit that Joe Mixon rushing yard prop, but I did call the under, and I don't call many unders very much. and that one was definitely a big sweat last
Yeah,
night. I only won that by 1 point.
there
So,
you
but
go.
it was a win's a win. So,
Exactly. A win's a win, baby. Yeah, I saw that you bet the under, and I was like, well, I could tease the under here, or I feel like it's really easy for a team to get to 39, or for two teams to get to 39 points. So let's go with the over. And I was sweating a little bit because I saw in the first quarter how they missed the field goal kick, or the
yeah,
Jags or
yeah.
whatever team missed the field goal kick in the first quarter. I was like, shit, this is not gonna be good. But hey, it is what it is. All right, just some football boosters or odds boosters over at BOL. You get Tulsa and Iowa both to win. Was plus 166, now plus 225. And then you can get BYU at Utah State over 63.5 points. Was 109, now is plus 130. Also, get to bet on some MLB stuff. Red Sox and Dodgers both to win. Was plus 124, now 50 points on it, plus
That's
175.
crazy.
That's a lot of points, man. Like that's kind of
That's
insane.
crazy. Yeah.
Um, if you believe in both of those teams, I mean, we both talked to. I took the Nationals as my underdog play, and you said that Lauer was going to troll some people and troll the industry today. So we talked against both of these teams, but like sometimes. Sometimes betting is all about the numbers, right? Sometimes betting is like if you get a bad line, you almost have to bet it. I feel like getting plus 175 there might be a bad line, and we might have to bet it.
Yeah, that's too many points. Give me the teams that have been well. The Dodgers have been hot. The Red Sox have not been hot. But if you this feels like a little bit of a bait bet, but at the same time,
Yeah, it does.
that's a lot of points.
Yeah, these boosters, like I love the boosters. I think they're absolutely amazing. Most of the time, you can find one or two juicy ones, but like sometimes there's these bait ones that they have, like this one. And I think kind of the over is also a little bit of a bait bet too. But you never
Yeah.
know. I think sometimes it's all about the odds, and in this scenario, it's definitely all about the odds. All right, let's we're going to our normal stream over here. We're just about done here. We have 2 more minutes left on the stream. Just want to give a thank you over to our friends over at BetOnline.ag. Make sure to go sign up if you have the opportunity to. We put the link in the chat. They are our only sponsors for the NFL season, and we absolutely love them over there. They give you everything that you need to bet on, whether it comes to player props, live betting, or just betting on lines. They also have a race book that you can bet on. They have a casino. They have poker rooms. They have just about everything that you can think of that you would want to be a degenerate with. So if you want to bet on MLB, NBA, NFL, or if you want to bet on a crazier sport, if you want to go bet on the UFC, they have great UFC odds. I think their MMA odds are second to none. Like I think their MMA odds are absolutely incredible. Whoever sets these lines does a fantastic job. But they have more than that, right? You can go bet on soccer over there. You can go bet on table tennis over there. You can bet on just about anything you can think of. So go check them out. BetOnline.ag/sportsbook if you want to check out the sportsbook. If you don't, then you can click around and you can find where the casino and the everything else is for BOL. And just want to say thank you again to our friends over there at BetOnline. Someone in the chat said, "How is your DFS?" Jared, do you want to recap DFS for them? Oh, Huey's. I don't think I've seen him in the chat before, so he might be someone new, and so figure we should probably recap what happened for us last night.
Yeah, of course. So he did get a sub yesterday. So
Sweet.
congrats and
Congrats.
welcome back. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, we had a smash night for MLB, top 1%. I believe the final FanDuel score for my lineup was 181. And then on the NFL side of things, I think it was like a 96 or 97 with we had Joe Burrow at MVP. We had Joe Mixon with that touchdown. We had James Robinson with 2 touchdowns. Tyler Boyd had a big day. And then finally, Laviska Shenault to round things out also had a really, really big day in replacement of Carlos Hyde, who I thought was going to get a little bit more work in the short passing game.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great day for the Roto Radar team. And now we move on to a Friday slate and then the weekend, which is always fun with me. Last weekend of MLB. It's a sad and happy moment. It's sad because, well, MLB is coming to an end, but it's happy because, well, MLB is coming to an end and we get this little 2-week break, which I'm pumped for. I know I'm taking a little vacation time, and I don't know. It'll be nice to get nice to get a little bit of time off before we get to the NBA season, which will be a ton of fun. Make sure to keep an eye out for NBA news. I'm sure Sean is going to be right around the corner. We're talking about NBA and rolling out some discounts for it too. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. Jared, any final notes before we get out of here? And if not, then we're gonna roll, man.
No, let's kick ass this weekend.
Let's kick ass this weekend. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good afternoon, not good afternoon, good morning, and good skill.